Dear listeners, welcome and welcome to our podcast series, Food for Generations. In this episode, we are going to talk about drone applications in the agricultural sector. As you know, during our upcoming European JCI conference in 2022, we will tackle several subjects concerning food, and one of them is how to strive for a sustainable food system. And that's where drones come in. And today I have invited a drone expert, Mr. Elwin Van Herck, owner of Noordzee Drones. Elwin, welcome. Could you introduce yourself a bit, and why are you so passionate about drones?
Well, first of all, thanks for the invitation, and hello to you all. I'm Elwin Van Herck. I have to say it all started in 2014 when with the training center for drone pilots, and also now today as a designated entity. In the meantime, I'm also the chairman of the Belgian Drone Federation. I'm the vice chairman of the Civil Drone Council and external expert for the aviation authorities. It all took me by surprise because I used to have a company for corporate videos. That's how I came in contact with the drones. And I have to say, drones are sexy, are inspiring. And I have to say also, it is the second fastest growing technology after the invention of the mobile phone. The possibilities are endless, so it was very attractive. And there are also many applications with the drones. We mainly know drones from video and photography, but there are other applications like photogrammetry, mapping, inspections offshore, security services, search and rescue, construction, and therefore also agriculture. So that's why I made the choice to start with the drones.
Well, it sounds great. I can still remember the phrase, drones are sexy.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. But one of my main questions is, how sustainable are drones? What sets them apart from tractors or other agricultural vehicles?
Well, I have to say, deploying drones is focusing on sustainability because we are environmentally friendly, we are cost effective, we are safe, and we are efficient. So the main reason is we have no fossil fuels. We work with batteries, and so we have no emissions. So I have to say, drones are not only sexy, but drones are good.
Well, you have drones, you have the hardware, but I can imagine you sometimes get bogged down in legislation. And I hear there's the upcoming new European legislation about drones. What can we expect, and what will this mean for drones and their potential applications in general, and specifically for the agricultural sector?
Yes, of course, there's a legislation, and I have to say you're well informed. I have also to say that it's less sexy than the drone itself, but we need this legislation. So there has been new European legislation since January 21. This legislation must ensure the harmonization of regulations across all European countries. So now it's not every country for itself, but it's an opportunity for the drone pilot to fly in every European member state. That is the first advantage. At the moment, there are two main categories. You have the open category for the lower risk flights, and you have the specific category for the higher risk professional flights. This European legislation will also offer certain applications and more options. Also for the agricultural sector, the possibilities for testing will become easier with this legislation. Spraying with drones, for example, was not possible under the old Belgium legislation. Now it will be possible with the European legislation. So that's the second and most big advantage of the change.
All right, sounds promising. But I think one of these burning questions is, because it's a European conference, after all, who's the best and who's the worst when it comes to drones in Europe?
Well, yeah, that's a difficult one because we're all good, I think, but I can proudly say that the Belgian pilots are certainly among the leaders in this drone industry. Due to the stricter legislation we had, we are left with the best European pilots, I think. You can see that many knowledge centers are focusing on drone technology here. They are very active in the Netherlands too, when it comes to agriculture, because I had the opportunity to go with via Ilvo to TU Delft and Wageningen. It was very impressive, but in Belgium, we have also a lot of research and a lot of knowledge centers like UGent, KU Leuven, Vito, Thomas More, Ilvo, and Inagro, who are doing also great here in Belgium. So I have to say we are doing well here. Yeah.
I can imagine that there are a lot of challenges along the way.
Yes, there are of course still a lot of challenges. We're not there yet. First and foremost, we will have to increase the flight times. Today we have an average flight time from 30 to 50 minutes. If you see what it was in 2013, 2014, it was 10 minutes. So we increased 3 times, so now 5 times the flight time, but we still have to increase that part. Another challenge is to make the devices even more robust and more performant. The software and the artificial intelligence are also in full development to have more efficient results. And finally, I think it's also a matter of convincing the agriculture sector itself of the usefulness of the drones and the added value. It's now mainly to see where we offer value for the Belgian agricultural sector. So specific to the business that we operate here and focus on the regional business.
So you want to create a win-win situation.
Absolutely. I think that's very important.
Mm-hmm. Just out of curiosity, you have drones, but you need pilots to operate them. How many drones are there in Belgium or in Europe? Do you have a specific idea?
Depends on the question. Do you want to know the sexy pilots or do you want to know simply?
Of course I want to.
Okay, no. I have to admit there's not a lot of women in our sector, so maybe they get inspired by this podcast, and I have to say maybe there will be a lot of more women, but it's a man's world for the moment. I think in Belgium 98% are mainly men in this. But according to the latest figures that I got from the Belgian Drone Federation, we are about with 7,000 Belgian pilots. Half hobby and recreational. The other half is semi-professional or professional. I don't have figures for the whole of Europe. I think it's difficult because some member states didn't have some legislation, so it's totally new to them. This is currently difficult because some countries started the implementation now in January. So we have to see that at the end of the year, what will be the numbers of and the figures of the drone pilots. But for Belgium, 7,000 pilots. So that's a lot.
Oh, all right. Yeah, 7,000 Belgians. I think it's you really have a pioneer role here. But we have talked about drones, so the upcoming the new legislation. But could you tell us a bit more about the current hardware and software? What can you do with these things?
Well, for the most in the agriculture sector, I could inspire the people because there's a lot of to do. Later on, Guy in the podcast will talk about this more in detail. But I have to say, photogrammetry mapping is very important in the agriculture sector. Precision farming with the GNSS, drone images for agriculture applications, why, how, and image processing. Thermal sensors are very important. RGB multispectral images and hyperspectral sensors, and GIS software. So that are the most important for agriculture for today.
All right. Well, I'll be perfectly honest, that was a lot of Chinese for me, but that leads me to my next question, because I hear there are a lot of countries already using drones in their agricultural sector, among them China, of course. Again, it's a competition. Who's the best and who's the worst of a class?
I don't know who's the best, but I have to say that there's a lot of countries using these drones for these applications. A lot of countries with wine trunks are indeed already investing in drone technology. With this, they spray the plantations and prevent diseases on these wine trunks. In China, they also use it for the rice plantations. So you also have many other options like tracking the drone of a self-propelled tractor, measuring certain pieces of land, detecting diseases on plants with hyperspectral images, and much more than that.
Okay. And now, hopefully not the $1 million question, but how much does a drone cost?
Well, it stays sexy, I have to say. That strongly depends on the device, but the software and the necessities. But you have smaller drones that cost like 2,000 euros, and then you have the larger drones that vary between 50,000 to 50,000 euros. So, but for this technology, I think that's not a lot.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and that are the professional models, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I have to say, this model of 2,000 euros, you can do a lot of the applications also with the smaller drones. So they both have their advantages.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right now we're going to get a little bit more technical. That's where our agricultural expert Guy comes in, because I heard a lot about different projects that you guys do, and now I'm switching to Flemish, projects like Landbouw in Drones, that's roughly translated agriculture and drones. You do that with Ilvo and Inagro. You have Icarus. You have the H2020 thematic network in Minnesota, the smart digital farming project with Flyo, the project Fabrieken van de Toekomst. Again, roughly translated factories of the future. What are all these projects? What are the goals? What do you want to achieve with these?
These projects want to develop programs and skills with drones to simplify the work that now is done manually. Using drones will give us a better result and will be more efficient. Of course, there is not only the spraying, but before the spraying, we have to do a kind of inspection of the plot and of the plant for gathering information about it. And also that development is done by all those names that you have mentioned. And we are going to capture with multispectral cameras, so we will see more than the human eye can see, and to analyze with artificial intelligence and send the results to the spraying drones. So the spraying drone is a different drone who gets the information of another one, and he will work precisely, more efficiently, and certainly can reduce the use of water and certainly of pesticides. It gives also a registration of the evolution of the plant, so we can follow the growth of the plants, and of course we should fly on regular basis to follow the progress of the plot.
Right. So practice makes perfect.
Yes.
And which drones are you using? Are they heavy? How much does it weigh? How much fluid can it carry? I got so many questions. Do you need an experienced pilot for it? Tell me more.
Well, of course, we are talking for drones for agriculture are a little bit bigger than the normal drones because they have to carry a lot of weight. Now the drones, they are constantly developing bigger ones, but at this moment we are working with T20, Agras T20 or T16, that contains 20 liters of fluid that we can spread among the plot.
So right now that's the Rolls-Royce of drones.
Yes, but now they are also developing a drone with 30 liters, so it will be more bigger. The weight of that drone is something about 50 kilos.
Whoa.
So it's a lot. A normal drone is something about 1 kilo, and or little drones or something about 1 kilo. The cost should be something about between 30 and 50,000 euros. And of course, we can work a little bit faster with those drones. We can do something about 12 hectares per hour, and we can spray something about 36 kilometers per hour. So that means that we can fly faster than machines, certainly because they are going to fly on certain parts of the plot, not the whole plot. And it's calculated, but normally it will go 20 times faster than manually.
So you're really giving these tractors a run for their money, literally.
Yes. But of course, the pilots, that's what Elwin already said, the pilots need to be have the skills to fly with a big drone like that, because we have to always can take the drone over. So we have to we need to fly manually also on a plot. So
it takes a lot of skill to do it.
Of course, and practice.
So I heard, if I heard correctly, you can actually spot or detect a hotspot, a disease hotspot in the field, and then designate another drone to spray it. Is that correct?
Yes, because first we are going to fly with the drone with a multispectral camera. That's a camera or a normal camera, but a multispectral camera can see infrared or higher spectrums of light. And with the artificial intelligence of the software, the drone can directly see where the problem in a plot is. Some kind of certain areas are worse or growing worse than the other part. And so that's data who is transferred from that first drone who is doing the inspection of the plot to the spraying drone, and the spraying drone will use that information to go on that spot and fly on that spot only.
That sounds interesting. I recall a lot of moments when I myself was on a tractor, so I wish I had one of those or two of those when I was like 10. And there's a lot of automatization that gets in. Also, you need, for now, a pilot to manually correct or adjust, but there's a lot of automatization.
Yes. Yes, certainly, because a plot is always the same, and like I already said, you have to fly at different times in a month or in a season to see what is going on the field, and so there you can program a typical kind of flight that the drone has to do always on the same way. So in that thing you can automate the flights and the job that the drone has to do.
Yeah. Well, I hear practice makes perfect, but where are you testing these drones right now? Here in Belgium and Europe?
In Belgium, we are testing them on our own plots because at this moment it's real difficult to fly in the open fields because of the legislation. So we are testing it on with ILVO, for example, on test sites, test plots, test fields that we have among Belgium.
Yeah. I hear a win-win coming up. How can this strengthen farmers? And of course, we're JCI Food for Generations. How will this strengthen a sustainable food system in Belgium and in Europe?
Well, the artificial intelligence is already given a bigger performance in accuracy for flying and more selectively the spreading of water, pesticides and others. So using the mapping possibilities with the multispectral cameras gives a fast overview of the whole situation of the terrain, of the field. And this data is, like I already said, automatically translated to the spraying drones. And so we can optimize our flights and optimize our use of water and pesticides. Certainly a good thing for our health and for the nature.
All right, we're heading into fully into the 21st century. So yeah, automatically the opportunities. I hear a lot of a return on investment, but I also hear perhaps threats, legislation, ramification, licenses. What's about that?
Yeah, the use of drones are more efficient, so the time of execution will be reduced. But not only the use of the batteries, and certainly more efficient for our environment, and that will contribute positively to the climate. But it also reduces the use of pesticides and water applying to these specific zones of the whole plot and not the specified pieces of the plot. Problem is the legislation, the licenses are at this moment very difficult. Europe and Belgium certainly need to adjust some smaller parts of the law. So they have to define certain categories to fly within. So then it will be possible to use them on the field.
All right. So we're living and hoping for tomorrow.
Yes, certainly. We can't wait.
Well, drones are one of these hot topics when it comes to the industrial revolution, the AI revolution in the agricultural sector. How does this correlate? How does this strengthen digital farming, by example?
Well, so the use of the special cameras, but also we are going to use the RTK application that gives us a more specific localization of the drones, real-time kinematic. So we are using the GPS for localization, and the hyperspectral cameras and the multispectral cameras will give an exact position of a problem of on a field or on a certain part of our area that we need to inspect.
So drones are or will become a key player in the whole digital farming.
Certainly.
Yeah. And what are the latest results of these projects? What can we expect within a month, a year, 10?
Well, we can expect a lot because the development of the software and the translation of the difficult technology, the different technologies that we can use on drones are going very fast. So if we look 5 years ago, we couldn't imagine that what we are doing now already. So I think in the future it will be more efficient and more certainly with artificial intelligence. It will give a very big result. And the biggest problem now is the communication between all the different applications and the translation of the captured data into another software. That's the biggest problem. That's the problem of all the things that you need to talk to each other. And now sometimes they're talking a different language, and it's very difficult sometimes to manage it, to get a good connection between the different parts. Mm-hmm. So I think that in the future will be resolved, I think, and will be working much better than now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Perhaps I'm repeating myself, but drone applications in the future, how will they strengthen the whole system? Can we expect drone highways in the sky, drones transporting certain types of fruits, or is it all the movies I've seen in the early 2000s? What can I expect?
Well, it's now already exceeding our goals, but in the future, I don't know. It will be possible to carry fruits or something else because problem is the weight. Like I already said, the drones that we are now using are already a weight of 50 kilos. We are working with batteries, mm-hmm. So the batteries needs to be bigger, so the weight will be more. So it's not that simple to carry a lot of fruit or something else, but maybe it will be. No problem. In Japan, they are already using drones to transport people, and so maybe it will be possible. But the highway for drones, I think that's also for the legislation a very important thing, that the airspace in Belgium, certainly in Belgium, is very divided, and there needs a very good legislation about on which height we can fly, on which height the other airplanes or helicopters or something else can fly. So there's a lot of work to do, but I think it will be managed.
Right. Peter-Jan, I need a little moment because I just think I have to go to the door because I think my drone with my pizza is there. No, just joking.
Go right ahead. Never say no to a drone with a pizza.
No. Just kidding.
At this moment, it's not possible. That's the problem of Amazon. They are trying to use it, but it's a problem. Yeah.
One day.
One day it will.
Well, I hear there's a ton of opportunities, a lot of interesting stuff, something that can really strengthen our system. But how? And I probably think this is very difficult. What's in it for the farmer? How do you convince the farmer? Okay, use drones. This is better for you. Return on investment. How do you sell these? How do you sell these things?
Well, we see it certainly as a win-win situation. Our experience in artificial intelligence and the machine learning will give the farmers a very quicker overview and a bigger result in their job. It will be the use of less water and pesticides will directly give a better future in cost and certainly in the improvement of for the climate. And the farmer will have the possibility to work on much smaller parts of his whole plant, right. Because the whole
he can diversify. He can really use pinpoint accuracy.
And I think most of all, to convince a farmer, you have to convince him to have more return financially. If that is their effective, cost reductive, then I think the farmer is interested. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Certainly the Belgian ones.
Oh, they're shrewd. They're always shrewd and cunning.
Well, but I think that's in every country the same.
Well, right now it's my turn, time to be shrewd and cunning, and I'll be a cheeky fellow. As they say, what's in it for you? What do you want to achieve?
Well, a lot. But we want to give the farmers the opportunity of using our experience and on a regular basis. Like I already said, the best thing should be that the drones fly on a regular basis the same plots of the same fields to see the progress of it. And we can provide them more developed science and give them the possibilities of following and executing their job on a faster, easier, and certainly a safer way.
All right, sounds great.
And more work for Guy. I think
more work for Guy.
I think he wants to have Guy. No, because I'm glad he's there, Petrian, because he's doing the detail questions. I'm doing the small talks, but he's an expert. He's from Indros, Industrial Drone Solutions. So if you need someone to have really solutions for the drones, I think you need Guy.
One phone number. Guy is one phone number away.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're about to wrap it up, but I would like to go out with a bang. Tell me, what is your dream scenarios with drones in Belgium, in Europe? What's the picture perfect for you in the drone world in 10, 20, 30 years?
Okay, I think that's one for me. I think first of all, we have to say the sky is not the limit anymore. Maybe Mars for the moment, because on Mars already there are also some drones flying, so maybe we have to look further than that. But for the moment, the sky is not the limit, and maybe Mars. My dream is that we can continue to grow in a sensible way. That drones are used every day for all possible applications, that drones are socially accepted, because that's one of the most important reasons, and that everyone can see their usefulness, and that all drone pilots have a lot of work and a nice future ahead of them. So I always say the same, Petrian, don't forget, drones are good, fly safe.
And on that bombshell, I would like to thank my guests. I would like to thank you both for a very interesting podcast. I have learned a ton of stuff, a lot of information, and I'm really interested as well to see how this future, this horizon, this drone horizon, will bring us. So I would really like to thank you for this great talk.
It was a pleasure,
No
Petrian. Thank you for giving us this positive message about drones and giving us this forum, because it's very important to know and to inform people what can be useful about drones, and that drones are good, effectively.
Great. Well, there's only one thing left to say. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you all at the JCI conference in 2022 in Bruges.
Hallelujah.